board that needs that many categories. I don't know.
Just for the record, the Super Mario World Extended Categories leaderboard has at least, I'd say 40 categories on it.
Okay, so watch Calco's screen. He's going to do a fast strat here with a quick scroll. Oh, just bumped.
He got hung up for just a second, but he was trying to get there to that dry spiny before he transformed.
And this room involves a lot of intricate jumps underneath Potobos.
Yeah, it may look fairly straightforward, but the height management underneath these Potobos, especially the first one, is incredibly technical. You have to jump from a pretty far distance away and then control your height using the jump button after you've already released it.
Yeah, the tap repress is a technique that any new runners need to become comfortable with very quickly. Oof.
Yeah, with Silver Star not having a flower in Ludwig fight, the Ludwig fight is actually the longest boss fight to not have the fire flower for. As you can see, he's rolling around on the floor now.
Fortunately, he's doing the easy setup for the cycle skip, which he just seemed to have gotten. Typically, we would have seen him have to go through a whole extra cycle there, but because he hit Ludwig while he was still in the air, it didn't count as one of the cycles, and so once he landed, he could hit him for the third time, which was perfect. This is the longest of them all, so go nuts.
So we do have some love from a neighboring 2D Mario community, $250 from JP Nance. Holding up my end of the 5-4 skip Yoshi's Island bargain, plus a little extra. Good luck to Calco and the rest of the runners in what should be an amazing race. $25 from Abby119 to P Jelly and all the rest of my dudes, Dots, Steven, Truman, Brams, Rezi, Dan, Chris, etc.
So in this stage, you'll notice that the runners are going to pick up an additional fire flower unless they already have one in reserve, and that's because we're going to do a damage boost in Castle 5.
That grab is incredibly technical, but not that hard to learn, but also super fun to watch.
And also very quickly...
Oh, is he going for it?
My dude. He was attempting to duplicate a block for wings, and it was going to be a beautiful experience for us all.
I think it still was.
I loved it.
Getting that trick without cape is insanely hard, and I'm pretty sure nobody actually goes for it in RTAs yet.
Till now.
Until now.
Calco never says die.
Okay, Dots, why don't you explain Yoshi clips real quickly for
Yabi
us?
clips.
Sorry, take a break, bud.
All right, in Forest of Illusion 2, which is a water stage, it is very long and very laggy. So instead, we decided to use our friend Yabi to just clip through the wall. And first try, with a good setup, getting a first try clip is a 75% chance.
Now, as you'll see, Silver Star got, well, we call it RNG'd out. It's not actually RNG.
And from this sample set, we got exactly a 75% chance.
Yeah, nice, perfect.
I mean, more accurately, we would describe it as luck, but in reality, Silver Star didn't do anything wrong. You really are just subject to sub-pixel oscillation that you really have no way to control and no way to know what's going to happen. So.
Essentially, the setup works on on 3 out of every 4 frames, and a runner in real time has no real way to guess which frame we're on. So in this next stage at the very beginning, there's a tall pipe with a spring right before it. Usually runners will simply jump on the spring, but I believe most of our runners are going to go for a wall jump here.
Yeah, since the wall jump is right at the beginning of the level, Mario starts with the same sub-pixel value, which sets up the wall jump perfectly, so it's actually easier than any other wall jump.
Oh, Sten hit the pixel.
BJW went straight for the springboard, which is, I mean, if you don't think that you're going to get the wall jump consistently, it's definitely faster.
And to be fair, it also, if you do get the pipe jump, it can add some temperamental bubble patterns later in the level that can actually lose time.
Yeah, you'll see some of the runners decided to carry the red shell through the level just in case they do run into a bubble. If you run into a bubble while you're over a pit, you're basically just going to fall in.
It's crucial that he saves that power-up right there. Otherwise, he's going to have a heck of a time.
Yeah, there is a way to clip in there, but you need to bring a Goomba into the pipe.
So this castle with a cape can be becomes somewhat, I won't say trivial, but it does become quite a bit easier to fly through it. They're going to have to ride the block snake, but we are going to still get to experience some really nice skips coming up pretty soon. So keep an eye on Calco's side for now and all the runners to follow.
The first thing he's going to do is scroll his screen to the right so that when he drops an item, he can run with P-Speed and grab that, and you'll see why.
So he grabs it immediately and then
Iframes.
jumps as soon as they run out. That was perfect execution.
We'll see if Sten and BJW can get the same.
Yeah, and Silver, because he doesn't have an item in reserve, he has to set it up a bit differently. But that actually, the Fire Flower only actually saves about 4 seconds on this boss fight, so it's certainly not a run killer.
It can actually be quite difficult to pull that off anyway.
The timing on dropping the power-up is pretty tight, and it's also really difficult to press the select button while you're running and everything, so getting the trick is not super easy.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever held a SNES controller, but holding down 3 or 4 buttons at once and then pressing select with whatever hand's left is a challenge.
This would be a good time for a donation. We're at another Castle cutscene.
All right, thank you. We have $200 from Half Coordinated. Video games are good. Speedrunning's good. Charity's good. Thank you for all the good. I love the speedrunning community, and I'm proud to be a part of it. Also, $45 from Tina Hacks 14. 3 first try clips, $45 to Runner's Choice. Shoutouts to our favorite horse, Yabi.
Thank you for supporting our good boy.
All right, Chocolate Island 1 is a pretty straightforward level. It includes a lot of platforming skills, not much the way of glitches or anything.
Yeah, it's actually unfortunate because this is the exact opposite of some of the stages we've talked about before, where it's actually quite difficult to learn and difficult to get good at, and yet it doesn't look that impressive to see done.
So you'll notice that BJW and Silver Star also picked up a mushroom in this stage, and that's used for a D-boost near the end of this ghost house that Sten is entering and Calco is currently in.
Yeah, neither of them have a backup power-up currently, and so they'll be exiting this stage.
So you'll notice that that Calco was able to keep. So in this game, when you run off of ledges, you actually lose your P-Speed. YOLO door. When you run off of ledges, the game kills your P-Speed. So you would like to jump off before every ledge as much as possible, but this Fish and Boo tends to make things a little bit interesting. And Silver Star has spent a lot of time in this level based on one of the 4 patterns that he can spawn in. Silver Star can recognize that and know which stairs to run down to get to that door as fast as possible.
It may not look impressive, but I do just want to point out that running full speed and opening a door is a 3-frame window, and if any of those runners had missed it, they would have ran right into a pit.
This room that you'll see on Calco's screen is a little bit difficult because some of these Koopa bounces are blind. And also in this game, we mentioned the tap repress. If Mario is ever falling, if you hold the jump button, he's actually falling less quickly than if you let it go. And that allows runners to control where they land only by repressing the jump button, as opposed to having to do left-rights, which would obviously lose time.
So Calco right now is entering an incredibly challenging stage, mostly because of the football chucks. They are awful.
So he did a little left-right there so that he doesn't have to rely on... Are the footballs actually RNG?
No, they're not. The footballs that the Chucks throw are based off of the global timer, so depending on when exactly you enter the level, the footballs will spawn at a different time. And
so RNG.
Basically, luck-based. If ooh, and that's what we were just talking about, football right in the face.
But you can save 2, so the world record all but requires that. And, you know, I'm not sure of the exact percentage, but I would say you can get through that room a little more than 50% of the time. But again, it's required, or all but required for the world record. So, and this category is so optimized, there are several tricks that are, you know, only a bit above 50%. Several of them are actually exactly 60%. And you need most of them to challenge Calco's world record.
All you got to do to be good at Super Mario World is major in statistics.
It's worth pointing out that this last yellow platform in the last room of Chocolate Secret is infamous for eating Mario's jump, and so the runners have developed strategies to prevent, or not exactly prevent it, but make sure they don't die in case they do get that eaten jump.
So, okay, so Calco's a madman.
But Sten did damageless Crusher Skip, as we say, so he's going to get the same cycle, actually, as Calco did. That was a beautiful castle.
Going under that saw blade without a power-up is just...
It's crazy.
And also notice that Calco did not get the midway in this stage, which is scary for that reason, for example. But it also means he's going to be swimming through some boo rings in the next stage, which is going to look very terrifying because it is very terrifying. I think now would be a good time for a couple of donations, Sky.
All right, sounds good. We have a $150 donation from Anonymous. Looking forward to watching TASBot dominate the Mushroom Kingdom. Next stop, the world. TASBot 2020. $500 from Rage. Excited for the Mario block. Good luck to all the runners. Pooh, I am aghast at your callousness. This donation goes to saving the Yoshis.
All right, so Calco is entering the Sunken Ghost ship, and you'll see, even though there is a mushroom right here at the beginning of the level, he's just going to go right past it, because it is much easier to swim through the boo rings as small.
Even though it's not easy to swim through the boo rings at all.
And the cost of failure is death.
Yeah.
And about 45 seconds.
Yeah, Sten already had a mushroom from Wendy's Castle, and so he's going to be able to deboost through at least one of them.
And there's also, if you notice on Sten's screen really quickly, he's going to pause for a second right there. And that little left-right sets up the boo cloud so that he will despawn the first ring. And all you had to do is a little left-right.
Yeah, so you're
here Calco's going to swim through the boos.
Very nice.
So you'll notice on Sten's side, he's not actually even going to see the first boo ring, so...
Silver Star is also going to attempt the same strat. So we'll get to see that again.
You'll notice that Calco actually avoided the star at the beginning of this room. Grabbing the star spawns a bunch of sparklies around Mario because he's invincible, and actually causes this room to lag quite a bit. So by avoiding the star and moving Mario around optimally, you can save a few lag frames.
Orb. Orb. So BJW and Silver Star are both, they both kept the star obviously, but they're doing some lag reduction strats by being choosy about which exact enemies to kill.
Skipping the star entirely does save, what is it, something like 20 frames of lag?
About that much.
Orb. Orb.
Keeping P-Speed through this stage, Valley of Bowser 1, is very difficult as small Mario. Both Calco and Sten went through flawlessly. Okay, so Calco is entering the stage that many SMW runners have lost runs to. There's a clip in the second room that has a 2-frame window. The ground is moving, Mario is moving, and so it's hard to find a good visual cue. But it does save 13 seconds if you get it.
I have reason to believe he's going to go for it.
I think he just might.
Yo!
Wait, not yet.
Now he's
Okay, now he's in.
Sometimes you don't want to celebrate too early because it is kind of tricky to get in there.
That's called the Louis clip.
That second clip is actually really free. Anybody can just go in there. All you have to do is make sure Mario's rubbed against the left wall.
And it doesn't save any time.
And it doesn't. Silver Star having some trouble getting up the first yellow block, but oof.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to. Yeah, when those platforms are in unexpected places, it can be very difficult.
That
to
jump
recover.
Calco just did, he didn't wait for the sandbar to rise. That's a 6-tile jump, which is, it's specific to one of Mario's speeds.
Yeah, there's only a 60% chance if you do all the inputs correctly that you'll get that. And it saves about 3.5 seconds. And Calco now in the fort. This is just a very entertaining stage, and it's also terrifying. So all of these going left and right are all just to keep P speed throughout the stage. All right, and Silver Star here is coming up on sandbar.
Ooh.
Oh.
Silver Star has succumbed to the top left guy curse yet again.
Oof. Don't feel too bad. He can't hear us. That trick is extremely challenging. You have to, with very little visual indication, you have to time a spin jump within a 2-frame window.
And Sten also successfully navigating through the very difficult Vob fort.
Completely flawless Dark Room.
And here we are at the Bowser fight.
So you may be familiar with watching these Bowser fights from different categories, but don't be fooled into thinking that just because we don't have cape, we can't do this fight fast. We're going to make use of a little bit of the strangeness of the Bowser fight, specifically how he provides Mecha Koopas in order to make this faster. So rather than hitting him with both Mecha Koopas right away, he's going to actually wait for Bowser to kick out one more. Even though he's waiting to end this cycle, holding on to that extra Mecha Koopa is going to make all the difference in the cycles going forward.
And Sten using some visual cues here for a setup to make this fight a little bit easier.
Keep a close eye on Calco in the second phase of this fight. He's actually going to specifically throw the Mecha Koopa at a point in order to skip Bowser dropping the second of his 2 bowling balls that he usually drops. It's a small time save, but it is a time save, and it's really nice if you can get it.
How many seconds is that? I think if it's an entire cycle, it could be several seconds actually.
Yeah, the ball drop animation takes a couple seconds, and then he flies around a little bit, so maybe about 3.
Okay.
But it also it's really variable because the Bowser fight is.
So you'll notice that Silver Star here is small in this Reznor fight. Those platforms can just kind of randomly warp you into the lava when you're small. So it's best if you're small in Reznor fights to take it a little bit more carefully than you might if you had a power up.
Yeah, BJW was small too, and I was worried for a second.
Okay, and we're coming up on time here for Calco.
And time ends right when the Princess Peach appears out of Bowser's clown car.
And time. And what was the time?
34:43. That's a fantastic time.
Anything sub 35 in marathon run is very amazing.
I'm not sure. He might have beat everyone else's PB that's in the race. And time for Sten. And BJW just executing the ball skip that we talked about earlier.
Am I mistaken? Am I misremembering? Didn't Calco set the world record for No Cape, No Star World in a tournament race?
Actually, it was the community race. There were maybe 40 people racing, and it was the community race to build hype for the tournament. And his current world record was set in that race. So that's going to be an SRL race time that's going to be pretty tough to beat.
Yeah.
And we're coming up on time for BJW. Nice Bowser.
And time.
Time.
Can we get a lot of top left guy Bible thump in the chat, please?
It wasn't his fault. He didn't choose where to be on the screen.
That's true. All right, we're coming up on time here for Silver Star.
Very nice last hit.
And time.
That was an absolutely fabulous run by all of the racers.
It's a very technical category with a lot of things to react to, and they all just did fabulously. So congratulations, guys.
Very nice race.
Nice job.
All right. Can we hear it one more time for the runners and the commentators of that race? Also, we do have a $5,000 donation from the Yeti. The Yeti's message is short and sweet. Balance the yabbies. We have a $200 donation from insert name here. Second time donating, but this is easy. Great race, important cause, and of course, Yavi. Greetings from Germany. $500 from Yoshi Savior. Finally got the time to donate for the event. Keep up the awesomeness. Save the frames, save the baby Yoshis. All right, we're going to take a break, run some ads. We will be right back. Welcome back to Awesome Games Done Quick 2018.
Drop a bunch
Got
of Zelda.
quite a few donations still. We have $150 from Up North Geek. Dram 2, best Dram. $30 donation from Rarco. The final night of GDQ is always equal parts sad and awesome. I'm thankful to everyone that makes these events so enjoyable to watch. Shoutouts to the tech crews putting out all the fires and keeping the speed going. $200 from Anonymous. Great Mario World run so far. This donation is going towards making Pooh Bear's dreams of killing the Yoshis come true. $250 from Stega Root Beer. Had to donate during one of my favorite games of all time, even if I only played the easier GBA version. And with that, we're going to throw to interview. Take it away.
And welcome everyone back to Awesome Games Done Quick 2018. We are very sadly, we are coming up on the end of the marathon. We have just 2 runs left for you guys, setting up for Super Dram World for you guys right now. But we are also, right after that, going to be going into The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and that will be run by this gentleman right here, ATZ. How you doing, man?
I'm pretty good, man. How are you doing?
Dude, I'm doing good. I have to ask you first thing right off the bat. You're the closer. There aren't a lot of people that can say I got to be the closer of such a, kind of almost the Super Bowl, I call it, of speedrunning. How does that feel right now? Do you have extra pressure on yourself or what?
Yeah, a lot of extra
it.
pressure. Yeah, I've done a run in the past at AGDQ 2014, actually. I ran Paper Mario there. But yeah, this is definitely a lot different of an experience being the last run just because, I'm the closer and I have to represent the event as a whole. So yeah, it's definitely a lot more pressure.
More eyeballs watching, just analyzing everything. But man, you got a great speed game in my opinion. I absolutely love watching Breath of the Wild speed runs. I love all the different categories you guys have and everything. To you, what is it that drew you to running this? Is it just it's the new Zelda? I want to run it.
Well, Breath of the Wild in general is really interesting because it's such an open game that there are so many possibilities that you have to work with.
Sure.
So for me, I'm one of the people that likes to route games a lot.
Yeah.
And I like to just figure out the fastest way to do things in order. And I just experiment with all those things. So with Breath of the Wild, I just had a field day with that game because I was testing stuff in every single category out there. And just trying to figure out the fastest way to do everything in such a massive game is really fun to me. So
yeah, it's really fun. I'm the same as you. Routing is my favorite part of speedrunning. So I can imagine you